Hello there, and welcome to Banned Book Talk. My name is Colleen. I'm a Youth Services Librarian with the Corpus Christi Public Libraries, and this program is recommended for teens ages 12 and up. Now, the materials we discuss may not always be appropriate for everyone, so some parental guidance is recommended. However, censorship is not. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive on into today's topic. Today, we are going to be looking at This One Summer, written by Mariko Tamaki and illustrated by Jillian Tamaki. Mariko Tamaki was born December 22nd, 1975 in Toronto, Canada. She is a Japanese Canadian and Jewish Canadian descendant. She has written and co-authored several other books and graphic novels since the early 2000s, and she is very vocal and outspoken about the bans and challenges put forth on not only her books, but on other books as well, and just the idea in general of banning and challenging books. She writes stories that she wishes existed when she was younger, that she would have been able to relate to a lot more coming from a minority background. And her themes tend to focus on the struggles of youth, especially those regarding family, friends, relationships, and even diving into heavier topics such as mental illness and social themes, especially those having to do with the LGBTQIA plus community. Now, Jillian Tamaki is her cousin. She was born on August 17th in 1980 in Ottawa, Canada, and she now lives here in America. So she is a Canadian-American author, illustrator, and comic book artist. And she has done the art for many other graphic novels and even worked on storyboards for some American cartoons like Adventure Time. And she even has created her own webcomic that she wrote, illustrated, and even published. And her aim is to draw more inclusive and diverse characters that more people, more young people especially, will be able to identify with her work. Now, This One Summer was published in 2014. It is a Caldecott Honor Book and has won the Michael L. Prince Award for Excellence in Young Readers. It is recommended for ages 12 to 18. Remember that because that is a factor in these challenges that I'm going to talk about. Now, a synopsis of This One Summer. Rose and her parents have been going to Owago Beach since she was a little girl. It's her getaway, her refuge. Her friend Wendy is always there too, like the little sister she never had, completing her summer family. But this summer is different. Rose's mom and dad won't stop fighting, and Rose and Wendy have gotten tangled up in a tragedy in the making in the small town of Owago Beach. It's a summer of secrets, heartache, and it's a good thing Rose and Wendy have each other. So, as you can see, this is a book that primarily focuses on the friendship and relationship between Rose and Wendy. There's also several side plots having to do with some drama going down in Owago Beach, and also the conflict going on between Rose's mom and dad that has to do with their own issues and kind of highlights what happens when adults don't communicate what's going on in their lives with their children and how that can affect them. So it's very interesting because all of it is told from a 12-year-old's perspective and seen through a 12-year-old's eyes. So it can be a real great eye-opener for not only 12-year-olds, but also for parents of 12-year-olds. See what's going on, what might be going on in your kid's head. So, the challenges on this one summer in 2016, it took the #1 slot on the ALA's Top 10 Challenged Books list. And it was challenged for LGBT characters, for drug use and profanity, and it was considered sexually explicit with mature themes. Now, this problem came about in this particular case study that I'm talking about. It happened in a Florida school. So this came about because it was purchased for an elementary school. Now, like I said, this is for 12 to 18-year-olds, so elementary is a little bit young. what happened was a third grader took it home, and that child's parents saw that this book was not appropriate for them and brought it to the school's attention. The school took a look at it and agreed, yes, it is not meant for children. It is actually a teen reader book. There had been some confusion because of the Caldecott honor status, because those usually are awarded to picture books, so they just kind of assumed and bought this one without looking at the suggested age range. So that caused a conflict at the elementary school. The principal and administration took care of it. They took the book out because they realized, yes, it was not meant for elementary. And it should have stopped there. However, the school district decided to take it a step further and challenged it in all of their schools, including high schools, which it is appropriate for. And they restricted the book to the point where the students would need a parental permission in order to check it out. Now, it was reported later by the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund that the book has been taken out of restriction and moved back into the unrestricted sections. And the nice thing about modern books with modern authors that are very active on social media and such is that sometimes we get to see responses. So Mariko Tamaki and Jillian Tamaki actually released a response to their book being in the #1 position on the top 10 list in 2016. This One Summer is a book about two girls this summer at a cottage in northern Ontario. When we wrote this book, our goal was to create a story that explored the experience of summer and of adults from a young person's perspective. This book was not created for elementary readers, but for young readers. The publisher lists it for ages 12 to 18, and there has been some controversy as to its inclusion on the Caldecott Honor List. So maybe it bears repeating that the ALA defines children as up to and including age 14. So you see, that's the part that kind of caused the issue at the elementary school. We agree that the book is not for young children, nor was it intended for that audience. We worry about what it means to define certain content, such as LGBTQ content, as being of inappropriate for young readers, which implicitly defines readers who do relate to the content who share these experiences as not normal, when, really, they are part of the diversity of young people's lives. A book doesn't stop existing by taking it off the shelf, nor do the ideas contained within. Pulling a book from the library shelf makes it inaccessible to kids who depend on the library for books, and it's an infringement on the freedom to read, to explore, to experience things outside your world, to see yourself and your story in the pages of the books you read. The main character of This One Summer, Rose, is often afraid, confused, exposed to things outside of her comfort zone and things she doesn't completely understand. We believe that is part of growing up. Life is often upsetting, but upsetting things in books are not actually happening in real life, but at a safe distance. You can read about an experience outside of your own and gain the opportunity to better understand someone it happened to in reality. You get to experience some of the emotions without a personal price. Connecting to an experience outside of your own or inside of your own is the core to social emotional education, of developing empathy, which is very much needed in our current climate. That was their response to its challenges and bans in 2016. Now, 2017, it got a break. It wasn't on the top 10 list, but in 2018, it made its way back onto the top 10 list at the #7 slot for profanity, sexual references, and certain illustrations, which I've looked through it myself, and I'm not sure which certain illustrations they might be talking about. I personally did not notice anything that was particularly explicit. As for profanity and sexual references, yeah, there's a little bit of swearing, and there are some sexual references, especially since it's two girls who are kind of at the start of puberty, and so they're just discussing these things, as many 12-year-olds start to do. So If you want to check out the sources where I got my information from for yourself, I will put them up on the screen. And you can read the case study put forth by the Comic Book Legal Defense Fund for yourself if you really want to. Now, please do remember that not everyone is going to like every book, but just because you don't like a book doesn't mean that no one else ever will. Likewise, not everyone is going to like your favorite book either. You don't have to like every book that you read, and you don't have to finish every book that you start. If you can't get through it, put it down and walk away. You at least gave it a chance. But never deny anyone else their right to read and enjoy it. If you want to check out this book for yourself, you can go to cctexas.com/library and put it on hold so that you can pick it up and see if we have a copy available at one of the branches near you. You can also check out Hoopla and Axis 360 and see what they have in the line of your favorite banned books. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.